Yeah, it was around like November or December 2020. From there on, tiba-tiba banyak banget competition online. You have a lot of different high school competitions. How debating taught me to become someone more empathetic or someone who's more humble with my own perspective. There's one loss that I feel like kayak itu gabungan dari all of the complex emotions, which is the loss in semifinals and UDC 2024. Yeah, they're up just to make sure that okay, kalian aman kan? Okay, we saw the tab. Ini kan result kalian. Okay, good job. Next round, keep it up ya. Gitu-gitu like.
Hai, selamat datang di Behind the Speech dengan aku Nila dan tamu kita minggu ini. Sebelum kita ke tamu kita minggu ini, nggak bosan-bosan aku ngingetin teman-teman untuk subscribe, like, dan juga komen, rekomendasiin debater siapa yang mau aku invite di sesi berikutnya. Jadi kita bisa ngobrol-ngobrol sama debater favorit kamu. Ya, kita bisa kulik-kulik mereka nih. Juga kamu juga bisa klik share dan sebarkan podcast ini ke teman-teman yang sekiranya menyukai pola pikir debater atau debater tertentu yang memang mereka sukai sedang ada di podcast ini. Nah, without further ado, tamu spesial kita minggu ini pakai telur nggak tuh spesial? Adalah salah satu kebanggaan Indonesia yang berhasil menang di WUDC dengan kategori EFL. Yes, yes, the only one. Rachel Chan. Hi, Rachel.
Halo Kak Nila.
Hi, this is our first time meet ya. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Kak Nila. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well and so excited and so nervous. I'm standing in front of the winner of WUDC. You know, it's never been happened before. So this is the first time. I'm the one that nervous actually. So Rachel, oke, yang kamu tahu ya, ini podcast yang santai, so don't be too nervous. We just sharing the session and also your point of view about things. Nah, ini suatu pertanyaan wajib ya, Rachel, yang harus aku kasih ke tamuku. Yang pertama, namanya siapa? Kamu dari IDS mana? Your position in debate, whether 3 on 3 or BP, itu posisi favoritmu di mana? Gitu.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Rachel. I am currently enrolled in Venus University. Dan untuk posisi speaker, we don't really do 3 on 3 anymore in varsity, or at least in my experience. But previously, when I was in high school, my favorite position is first speaker. Kadang-kadang ada jadi third speaker. But after entering BP debating, my current fixed position is DPM as well as whip position, so later speakers.
Nice. So, justru waktu ke BP kamu malah jadi letter ya daripada
Iya,
yang
Kak.
ininya, yang firstnya. Menarik. Kalau sekarang sibuk apa, Rachel?
Uh, sekarang sekarang lagi ada beberapa project sih Kak, like we're going to have seleksi NSDC Kepri tomorrow, exactly at tomorrow. It's a very exciting thing because it just feels like a full circle moment. Back in 2021, I was one of the delegates yang ngikut seleksinya to become like the representative for Capri, and then all of a sudden tomorrow, then I'm the one capping for NSDC Capri and finally contributing back to my own region.
Oh, nice to hear that. Yeah, I mean, that's ini ya, ada sense of fulfilling gitu ya. Kalau
Mm-mm.
misalnya kita tuh bisa contribute back gitu loh ke tempat yang membesarkan kita. Nah,
Mm-mm.
since you are from Capri, Capri harusnya masuk Sumatera ya kan ya?
Mm-mm. Iya Kak, very
Oke,
very close
masih
to
bagus
Sumatera.
geografiku. Aku dulu pernah di Jambi soalnya.
Ah.
Jadi aku high school 1 tahun doang itu di Jambi, tapi rest of my life itu 7 years di Jambi gitu. Jadi tahulah sedikit-sedikit tentang Kepri. Nah, talking about debate and talking about Sumatera, how do you find out debate, Rachel, and why do you wanna stay? Nah, terus waktu itu kondisi debate di Sumatera itu tuh kayak gimana sih? I think jarang banget dan sulit banget. Aku juga lagi nyari-nyari debater Sumatera yang pengen aku invite nih.
Hmm.
Tapi since you are here, aku pengen dengar juga dari point of view kamu waktu kamu jadi di high school ya harusnya.
Mm-mm. Okay, so I joined debating back in high school. Pas itu tahun 2000, it was late 2020. I joined my high school debating extracurricular. It was called Maulers. Uh, at the time, sebenarnya my intention to entering the debate community or like the debate club wasn't to like debate because I have no prior knowledge of debating. I am not confident in public speaking. Tapi kebetulan di sekolahku itu, this is the only club that facilitates English discussions atau it's the only club yang emang the primary language that they use is English comparatively to other clubs, contohnya seperti OSN atau teater. So when faced with all of these options, I find myself preferring debating over anything else. So at first, sebenarnya the intention was purely just to find a club that speaks English, find people who likes to speak English, and try to improve myself in that as well. Kalau untuk prospect for Sumatra and Capri debating, I do have to agree, especially with all of the things that I heard from Sumatra debaters as well. It was pretty underrepresented in previous years, not until COVID. So even though COVID was quite a bad thing that happened to plenty of people, the lockdowns, all of the bad things about the pandemic, but it definitely did help Capri as well as Sumatra to really kayak ngebantuin community-nya untuk develop, to have more debaters, to open up access to things like coaching, to things like online competitions as well. Karena from the stories that I heard from my seniors especially, mereka tuh ceritanya dulu di Kepri, setahun palingan beberapa doang kompetisi debat di Batam, di Kepri. So it was very difficult for them to really hone their skills in debating, not just because there's a limited option for the materials that you can access for debating, but also the amount of competitions karena dulu kan kebanyakan competition itu offline and most of them were either in Jakarta or like very Java centric, right? And it's kind of impossible for like our schools to subsidize us to go all the way to Jakarta. So in terms of the competitiveness and in terms of accessibility, it was pretty hard back then, but after COVID, it definitely did improve in a very significant way to the extent that sekarang ada banyak banget. A lot of my debater friends are from Capri, are from Sumatra, and that's definitely something that I feel very proud of because this is somewhere that I came from, and then I find similar people that comes from similar backgrounds from me as well.
Nice, aku juga jadi ikut senang ya walaupun hanya 7 tahun di sana. Tapi the sense of Sumatera tuh beda gitu. Kamu percaya nggak sih durian di Jawa itu mahal banget dibandingin durian di Sumatera?
Oh, actually, Kak, I actually don't like to eat durian, but
Oh iya, percaya.
yeah, but I guess food just in general in Jakarta is just so much more expensive than
Benar
the ones
sih,
in Capri,
benar
right?
sih.
Aku lately kan lagi liburan juga, lagi
Hmm.
balik ke Batam, and then I ate so many food. These are all foods that I cannot find in Jakarta. They're so much cheaper. It's some, in my opinion, so much better as well.
I know, right? Oh. Nah, terus berarti dulu waktu high school itu kamu juga masih minim kah lombanya atau sudah mulai develop waktu itu sampai akhirnya kamu lulus dan ke sekolah ke BINUS?
Kalau dulu pas saya SMA itu, debating has definitely become way more accessible. Karena kan sudah masuk ke zaman COVID. I remember at the time my seniors were there to give us the proper introduction to what parliamentary debating is like. Three on three itu seperti apa, what are the roles in Asian parliamentary debating and what are you supposed to do. Tapi other than just the introduction, we already have access to things like online competitions as well. I remember my first debate competition was REDC. It was around,
Hmm.
kayaknya December 2020. Yeah, it was around like November or December 2020. From there on, tiba-tiba banyak banget competition online. You have a lot of different high school competitions, a lot of different varsity competitions, and even open competitions that really made it far easier for Capri debaters especially to participate more, untuk belajar tentang debat, to find coaches, find judges who are very experienced in that field as well. Jadi itu juga sangat membantu kami to like really develop not just as debaters but also as a community in Capri.
Guys, kalau kalian nggak ngerti bahasa Sumatera, kami itu maksudnya aku ya, saya,
Iya.
iya nggak sih? Nah, terus em, Rachel, kalau misalnya nih, kamu kan tadi bilang kalau 3 on 3, most likely kamu akan jadi PM. Tapi gitu BP, kamu tuh malah justru jadi letter speaker. Kenapa? Ada apa dengan perubahan ini gitu? Dulu kenapa sih PM, apa yang kamu sukai di PM dan apa yang kamu sukai jadi letter speaker di BP?
Hmm, sebenarnya, it's actually quite a funny story sih Kak. Soalnya awal-awal banget aku masuk ke AP Debating, I was actually assigned to becoming a second speaker. Well, not assigned sih, cuman when we were introduced about the different roles in AP Debating, I thought I'm more interested in becoming a deputy speaker. Gara-gara mereka kan bilang kan, oh yeah, you can bring responses, but at the same time you could also bring a new argument. And I thought, oh, so you don't have to choose. You can have like both at the same time. Then why not? Daripada tiba-tiba ternyata third speaker gak bisa nih bawa argumen baru. Atau first speaker, you're supposed to have like a really good setup before you talk about your arguments. So at the time, sebenarnya I just wanted to pick the safest option without even knowing what I signed up for. That's probably one of like the biggest mistake that I did in my very early years of debating. Sampai akhirnya, I remember I did plenty of practices with my friends, my seniors. Dari sananya baru kayak lebih terexpose to what AP debating is actually about. Join competitions, looked at speeches, listened to different really good speeches, and then from there on, I started developing more interest in becoming a first speaker. Gara-gara just looking at the dynamics of approaching AP debate, I just don't know if this is something that happens to everyone or maybe it's just a me thing, but I just like setting the foundations of the debate to think about sebenarnya what is this debate about and what is this debate not about. And if we're able to set that clear foundations, then probably the debate is going to develop in the correct stance or the correct direction. And I really like doing that because just the intuitive things that goes on in my head itu biasanya cuma like the basic foundations of the debating, the principal arguments, the basic arguments. Makanya pas SMA itu lebih prefernya ke menjadi first speakers. But after entering varsity debating, I actually don't know as well kenapa tiba-tiba I shift into a later speaker. But pas itu kan I teamed up with my teammate namanya Kak Jen. Shout out to Kak Jen. At the time, we actually have clashing speaker positions for opening. Jadi kami itu sama-sama deputy. I forgot what we talked about specifically, but after trying out during practices, kita ngerasa emang lebih klop aja kalau misalkan Kak Jen becomes the first speaker and I'll become the second speaker because in terms of responses, I was more comfortable at becoming a deputy as opposed to a first speaker. Terus Kajen is also very, very good in just like setting all the foundations for the debating. Jadi kami merasa if that was our dynamic, okay, then maybe we should try this out. Kita bisa coba dulu and we'll see if it works. And apparently it does. So jadinya kebawa terus sampai ke all of our other competitions. Same thing with closing juga. I used to be, pas SMA kan ada coba beberapa BP competitions as well.
Yes.
I did try out both member and web, and I actually don't have any preferences for both of them. Tetapi pas bahas sama Kak Jen lagi, Kak Jen is so much better at bringing extension than I can probably ever be. So setelah kami coba di practice, after we tried to talk it out, Jadinya Kajen coba dulu untuk jadi member speaker, and then I try to become the web speaker. Terus kayak coba untuk compare and uh, transitioning into BP web speaker as opposed to just an AP web speaker.
Ya nggak sih, kamu kerasa nggak sih bedanya AP
Mm-mm.
dan BP ketika apa namanya
Hmm.
transition itu. Nah, apa yang adaptasi yang paling sulit dari AP ke BP?
Uh, Oof. It's actually a lot of things. I guess the first thing is strategizing the debate. Karena kalau AP, I feel like it's more on your understanding of the material and how much you build on that material. Tapi BP, I think what's unique about it is how you approach the debate. Even from prepping the debate is already part of the things that would determine apakah kita bisa menang atau kalah berdasarkan strategi apa yang kami milih untuk kayak masuk ke dalam debatnya. Cause opening and closing itu kan role-nya beda banget. And we have to think about those things as opposed to just thinking about, okay, golf kita harus bawanya apa aja, sebagai op kita harus bawanya apa aja. So I think the most challenging thing is to really see the debate in a much broader sense. Jadi lebih ke debatnya secara keseluruhan itu seperti apa. If we were opening, then what are the things that we have to prioritize in the debate to make sure that we can take all of the good arguments so that closing wouldn't like steal any of our argument for them to win. Atau kalau as closing, what are we supposed to bring biar kita bisa kayak way above opening. Karena kan obviously opening will bring all of the very intuitive ideas. Ini kita cara menangnya jadinya kayak gimana? Is it like another actor, another angle, or things like that? But I guess the second thing that is the most complex in BP debating is probably the comparisons. Karena kan ini it's 4 teams as opposed to 2 teams. At first, I was very, very overwhelmed with it. Gara-gara I feel like I don't compare enough and I don't weigh enough, which oftentimes led us to losing the debate. I'm so sorry, Kak Jen. Tapi that really forced me to think about it and try to structure my speech in a basically untuk tengok kayak gambaran besar dari debatnya lah, as opposed to just thinking, okay, golf harusnya bawa kayak gini, op harusnya bawa kayak gini, but really think about what if your opening brings an intuitive argument? If you bring your extension, why is your extension more important, or why is your extension worth winning this debate? So those are things that I had to force myself to be habituated with, have to force myself to understand cara nge-weigh not just against oppositionnya, tapi juga against your own opening or your own closing and things like that. Jadi definitely way more complex and way more complicated than AP yang cuman kayak opnya kalah gara-gara ini atau kenapa kami menang gara-gara ini. Jadi a lot more things that you have to put in your basket for you to think about.
Bener lagi, malah dulu waktu awal belajar BP tuh yang dikasih taunya tuh yang kayak, ya kamu itu sama opening tetap openan, cuma nggak yang langsung di step gitu, hah? Nggak langsung di step, terus kita ngapain dong gitu kan? Jadi kayak waktu transitioning tuh yang kayak, aduh gimana sih kok kayaknya ribet banget, dan emang ribet gitu. Dan tapi lama-lama terbiasa, kalau misalnya udah biasa BP, pasti males deh balik ke 3 on 3. Kamu ngerasa gitu juga nggak?
Oh
Iya.
iya, Kak. Iya. Soalnya BP kan very very wide debate kan, and I feel it's so fun. Terus you just have so many chances in BP. There's always something very very unpredictable happening in BP debates comparatively to AP debates. Jadi it's just something that is more thrilling, something that is kayak the adrenaline is just higher comparatively to AP debate. But I definitely agree yang tadi Kak Nila bilang kayak okay, you're on the same side, but your opponents. Jadi sebenarnya apa itu extension atau apa sih yang bisa buat kalian menang padahal kalian bawanya stance yang sama. I was so confused with that, but thankfully with very good coaching from Kak Aya, I finally understand what that means.
Ya, ya, shout out to Batara ya untuk menjelaskannya sehingga teman-teman ini tidak bingung lagi. Karena emang kebanyakan dari yang high school nih ya rata-rata aku ngobrol itu mereka emang kebingungan pasti di situnya deh. Transitioning
Hmm.
dari AP ke BP-nya tuh yang kayak gimana nih ngeposisiin diri. Kadang tuh extension mikirnya masih extension di AP padahal beda extension
Nah,
karena kamu nggak bisa yang 100% agree sama
mm-mm.
openingmu. Jadi mereka agak kebingungan gitu. Oke, berarti kita semua merasakan hal yang sama ya, teman-teman. Bahkan seorang world champion juga merasakan kebingungan itu berarti. Nah, terus Rachel, moving on, sebelum kamu menang di WUDC, kamu punya nggak sih kekalahan atau kemenangan yang bikin kamu terngiang-ngiang sampai sekarang yang kayak bisa ya kayak gitu. Baik itu kenangan baik atau kenangan buruk, kenangan happy atau kenangan yang malah aduh ini harusnya bisa didikit lagi gitu.
Okay, okay. Uh, oh, there's one loss that I feel like isn't kayak itu gabungan dari all of the complex emotions, which is the loss in semifinals and UDC 2024. So I remember the motion for NUDC semifinals di tahun itu. It was quite a heavy topic. It was a topic about grief, which is very difficult for some people to talk about. I remember the atmosphere that we have in the room was very, very down and very, very heavy. People are all talking about their personal experiences. They are, I wouldn't say they are competitively debating. They're sharing their personal stories in a way that is so diplomatic, so personal, that I feel like is one of the most amazing speeches that I've ever seen anyone deliver. But the cons of that is, karena ini kan sesuatu yang sangat personal untuk setiap orang, it definitely put a weight on them when delivering the speeches as well. I remember a lot of the debaters that I went against, they cried during the speeches, cried after the speeches. Even the audiences in the rooms were also crying because the stories are just that good, like the speeches are just that good. The reason why it was very memorable for me is that I remember we were closing opposition. I remember that our extension was new. I wasn't worried that we were derivative to the extent that we would lost because of that. But after the round, I do have this slight feeling that kayaknya kalah deh. Karena we didn't deliver the speech as brilliant as our other competitors in that room specifically. I remember setelah debatnya, we were all just waiting for the results. I was debriefing it with Kak Jen, debriefing it as well. Kayak we were texting with Kak Batara as well, karena dia nonton live stream juga kan. And he did affirm us that, okay, it's not a derivative case, tapi we'll see what the judges think. And it was proven that we did lost that round. But I have to say, I have a very mixed feeling about that round. I don't think I did my best. I think I could do better. But at the same time, losing it was also kind of agak sayang gitu, because like we were so close to grand finals. We prepped so much to be there, to be on the big stage, but it was just like this one little step left for us to get there. But at the same time, I didn't feel gimana ya kayak I didn't feel super down from that result as well, because the debate was just very good. And I approached Kaupi immediately after the announcement as well. I got very, very good closure from them. Terus sampai dijelasin kayak in very specific details. Okay, this is what the debate was like. This is what happened, and then this is what you could do to improve your speech. Which everything really made sense. And despite feeling kind of sad that we lost the debate in that round, I fully accepted it, and that is just a memory that is like stuck in my head. Every time we thought about things yang correlated with losing a debate, losing to a topic that is just very, very personal to everyone, and I don't think it's a loss completely when we are facing people who are genuinely talking about their experiences and people who really delivered one of the most brilliant speeches that I've ever saw.
Iya tuh, kayaknya aku inget deh, aku mendengarkan itu sebelum tidur dan emang, wow, nggak jadi tidur gara-gara dengerin speech-speechnya. Kayak, oh my God. Dan indeed aku juga ikut nangis gitu, karena I've been through the grief also. Jadi kayak ketika mereka ngomong itu kayak, aduh benar lagi, aduh relatable lagi, kayak gitu. Tapi jadi even though aku paham sih maksudnya, jadi walaupun kalah, tapi kalah because of great people itu ya udah aja gitu, ya kan? Jadi kayak
Yeah.
because you found closure dan juga yang menang juga emang deserve untuk menang. Jadi you kinda bigger person aja untuk menerima hasilnya gitu ya kan. Mantap banget sih. Nah, sekarang sudah ya, aku juga jadi ikutan sedih karena mengingat speech-nya. Nah, sekarang setelah menang WUDC, gimana sih waktu itu perasaannya, Rachel? Aku penasaran banget ya waktu diumumin kayak Indonesia gitu.
Oh, even until now, it still feels like a very surreal experience for us to win with Udese because it was such a huge competition, kan. It was such a major thing for us. It was already an honor that we could represent Indo to go to WUDC. Apalagi untuk menang WUDC, that was like the most insane experience I've ever been through. Karena throughout the entirety of WUDC, the coaches reminded us that this is a mental game, that this is definitely going to make us feel all of the ups and downs of debating. At first, I thought, okay, I know it's going to be very overwhelming, but I don't understand that to the full extent. Sebenarnya sampai segimananya. Karena the biggest competition that I've joined itu cuman NUDC, ABP. But apparently, they are not kidding when they tell us that this is a mental game. Karena memang up and down gitu. There are moments where you lose. There are moments where you win. But in the end, I'm just very, very grateful that we were able to reach the results that we've gotten. Yang akhirnya kita menang. Lalu akhirnya we were able to be called up to the stage, and I remember us just bringing the Indonesian flag, and it was a very, very proud moment. Still very unreal though, cause aku ingat pas itu udah tengah malam banget. It was super late in Panama, and then we were just called up to the stage, and then we were all just so nervous about the result. We think we gave our best. We were also hoping for the best, and the good thing is, and the good news is, we did eventually won the competition.
Yeah, and also another YouTube that I listen before I sleep, and jadi nggak bisa tidur juga gara-gara jadinya dengerin gitu kayak kayaknya ada chance nih, kayaknya ada chance nih, dan beneran beneran itu kayak aku juga ikut senang gitu kayak iya sih banget after years gitu kan. Kita pernah menang IFL dulu karena di ITB, terus
Yes.
sekarang tuh di BINUS gitu kayak happy banget gitu. Nah, one of the speaker juga dari Sumatera itu sudah double happy gitu loh waktu itu. Nah, kamu mau shout out ke siapa sih, Rachel, untuk kemenangan kamu di WUDC ini, Rachel? Let's appreciate them that help you get through all the mental games.
Oh, kalau misalkan talking about shoutouts, there's just so many people. The most important person and the most obvious person that I will definitely thank all of the things that he did for us, the contributions he made for us, the sleepless nights, all the drillings, Kak Batara. Honestly, the most genuine coach that anyone could ever find. Karena the relationship that we have with him is not just as our debate coach, tapi he is also our friend. He is super supportive in everything that we ever do. Okay, I'm getting all over the place because there's just so much to talk about. Just from coaching, the way he coaches us, it's just very understanding. He's just very understanding. Dia tahu there are concepts that we don't understand, he doesn't try to explain it in like a very philosophical or in a very professional way, but he actually makes us understand what this debate is about or cara approach satu motion itu sebenarnya kayak gimana. So I feel like that really makes a difference in terms of our approach to debating later on, and most importantly in WUDC yang memang motionnya itu kan variatif banget. There's soft motions, there's hard motions, and he really did prep us in every possible way to make sure that we know how to debate all of these motions strategically. But other than that, yang paling penting juga itu the mental support that he gave us. I honestly cannot summarize it in just one session because he just did so much for us. He literally was there every single time that we need someone to talk to, if we need someone to rant about our experience. Karena I remember the first day of our journey, we did not do very well. I remember we got 4th, terus 2nd, and then 3rd. So we ended up with like only 5 VPs, and we were actually kind of sad about it karena ngerasanya kan, okay, they prepped us so much, but ini doang the things that we can reach, and I just felt so disappointed. Kak Jen was also very disappointed. We were both like very mentally down, but Kak Batara is always there just to make sure that we're doing okay, that we're not like blaming ourselves too much to the extent that mungkin itu akan kayak efek performa kita juga. And he doesn't do it in a way that a coach does it. Bukan yang kayak tanya, okay, how's your performance? Atau tadi rekap dong debatnya kayak gimana. But he actually asks it as a friend and making sure that we are mentally well, that we can get through this. Terus dia yang kayak check in on us, make sure that we are both actually he's kind of like a brother/dad figure juga yang kayak tanya kalian udah makan belum, kayak make sure makannya, like all of those like very tiny things that are definitely the things that made us persistent in this entire journey. Tapi other than that is just throughout the entire preparation to WUDC juga, karena we did do ABP in Krabi. He could have chosen not to come with us, atau he could have chosen to do other things, tapi he decided to come with us just to observe us debating, just to give us feedback, just to be there with us for our first Asian major. So I know it doesn't like completely portrays how great of a thing that is, but for us it really means a lot, karena this is the first time we've ever done international debating in a very serious sense. We do not have much exposure to what international debating is like, international judging is like, but he's there making sure that kita ngerti, kita bisa jalanin semua ini. He's also there to give us the mental support as well. A lot of different things that Kak Batara did as well. This is definitely not enough for me to fully represent how great of a coach and how great of a friend he is. Tetapi other than Kak Batara, obviously we have our main coaches for WUDC juga. We have Kak Omar, Kak Upi, and Kak Hans. Honestly, they're all just very excellent coaches. Their experiences in international judging, in the international circuit, definitely helped us so much throughout the entire journey. Dari preparation, the way they drilled us untuk kayak ngerti, untuk ingat kembali sebenarnya fundamentals dari debating itu seperti apa, because those are the things that we tend to forget or we tend to miss kalau misalkan udah mikirin topik-topik yang lebih berat, atau we try to do like the smart approach to debating, whereas these basics are the ones who are the things that would make you win a debate. They're the ones there to remind us these are the things that you have to do. They're also the ones who's always there to prep us tentang kayak international judging tuh sebenarnya kayak gimana. Here's how you have to adapt. Here are the things that you can improve on, both as a debater or just as a person in general. There are things that I would like to mention for our coaches. Specifically, kalau untuk Kak Omar, They were the equity officer in WUDC kan tahun ini. Super busy, but huge shout out because they were still always putting out the effort, always giving us the time to check up on us, untuk huddle with us after each round, just to make sure that, okay, kalian gimana? Still good? Habis ini kalian approach-nya kayak gini ya? Do all of those things that I think are really an emotional boost to making sure that we're gonna do good in the next rounds. For Kak Upi and Kak Hans, honestly, they are halfway across the globe, but they're still checking on us, which is so insane. Soalnya kayak Panama and Indo kan bedanya 12 jam.
12
But
jam.
they're up just to make sure that, okay, kalian aman kan? Okay, we saw the tab. Ini kan result kalian. Okay, good job. Next round, keep it up ya. Gitu-gitu. Like, whoa, like they're so dedicated to the extent that they would stay up just to check on our progress. So these are really the things that I have to appreciate from all of our coaches, not just through all of the preparation for WUDC, but during WUDC, even after WUDC, they're just very, very amazing coaches, very, very amazing people.
I believe mereka juga akan bangga deh sama kalian. Lanjut, Rachel.
Other than that, Kak Jen, my teammate, honestly, I depend on her so much during WUDC. We cannot get through WUDC if it wasn't because of Kak Jen juga. Karena she is honestly such an amazing teammate. We're not just good teammates, but also very, very good friends outside of debating. I remember during the first day yang kami breakdown, we were so sad about it, but after we both like had our quiet time just to calm down, texted Kak Batara, terus kayak nge-rant kayak, oh, we felt so bad because we both think that we messed up the debate, and then we just could have done better to make sure that we win the round. But after all the emotional breakdown, we actually had noodles, and then we cooked it in coffee machine. That was a very random story, but when you're depressed, the best thing is to eat something from Indo. We do not have any other option, but that's what we went through. I think after that Indomie, we are definitely way better friends than before after all of those experiences. But honestly, Kak Jen is such an impressive person. Karena sebenarnya throughout her entire debating journey, she only debated for 1 or 2 years, and she literally won like EFL WUDC Best Speaker. Like, that is insane. So that really shows just how amazing she is in terms of debating, the way she keeps up with all of the different news, cara dia memperbaiki speechnya sendiri, to really up her performance, to adapt in different scenarios in the debate rounds. Those are things that I'm genuinely so impressed about Kak Jen, and I don't think anyone could replicate that from her other than herself. And I just feel like people should see that more often to really understand. Kayak sebenarnya Kak Jen itu, she's just such a good debater. Like, it's actually very insane to think about it. And what I'm most grateful of is that we're both also very open with each other. Kalau misalkan ada masalah, either in debating or just in personal life, we're also able to talk it out very easily, which translate into a very good support system during WUDC. Gara-gara pas kita ngerasa down, we could just sit together and just talk about it. Talk about how we feel, talk about what we could improve, dan lain-lain, without anyone feeling offended. Because we both know that we just want to do our best. We want to make sure that we get something out of this to really give, basically just give our best during WUDC juga kan. So without Kak Jen, I don't think I would survive Worlds. She is not just a very good teammate for debate purposes. She is also the one who's like making sure that I don't have more mental breakdowns during WUDC. So yes, very very big shout out to Kak Jen.
Tadi tuh aku juga baru mau nanya ya, kayak Jane itu as a partner itu kayak gimana sih, as a teammate kayak gimana.
Hmm.
Tapi ternyata udah kamu cover semua ini ya. Apakah ini yang namanya preemptive? Dia udah di cover nih
Predicted
sebelum
it.
ditanya. Oh, makanya. Nah, balik dari WUDC. Sekarang tuh Rachel kesibukannya kan tadi kamu bilang ya ada caping juga. Nah, udah pegang atau udah mulai ngelatih juga nggak sih, Rachel?
Hmm, kalau untuk mengelatih, I am currently handling a high school institution. Um, although I'm currently still figuring out my schedulings gara-gara udah mau masuk semester baru and then I need to wait for Venus calendar before I can confirm it as well. But yes, still actively coaching, still actively helping out as much as I can, because this is just like an activity that I am genuinely passionate about, and I genuinely want more people to access the good things of debating. Karena due to my previous experience of not having, we actually didn't have like an official coach pas SMA kan. So I know how hard that can be to compete with other people who are talented, who have access to good resources, to good coaches. I hope at least I can help them out more, help them out a little bit for these aspects, biar mereka juga bisa actualize their own uh, debating experience.
Jiwa coachnya mulai keluar ya, kayak nyingkirin orang lain daripada diri. Tapi kalau untuk debate masih turun-turun juga, Rachel.
Oh, kalau turun-turun kayaknya enggak deh, Kak. I'm over my competitive days. Silahkan all of my juniors, your turn.
Sudah ya, aku pengen menutup ini di puncak ya, jangan disuruh turun lagi. Oke, oke. Nice. Nah, karena Rachel adalah orang yang pertama aku invite di podcastku yang dari Binus. Nah, aku pingin tahu tuh, Rachel, Binus itu cara merekrut debaternya tuh kayak gimana? Kemarin-kemarin kan aku udah ngobrol ya dari UI, dari UGM. Nah, itu tuh punya pola yang apa namanya unik-unik gitu dalam merekrut debatersnya. Nah, kalau Binus tuh gimana? Apa ada tesnya? Atau kamu daftar terus langsung di coaching sama Batara atau kayak gimana nih?
Oh, I saw the question and I actually really like this question karena for Venus case itu sebenarnya lumayan unique because in Venus we don't have an English debating society. What we
Oh,
have is an English organization. Jadi debat itu sebenarnya di bawah naungan Venus English Club, which is the organization that handles all of the talents, the registration, the competitions, and everything that is related to administrative as well as management as well. Jadi kalau dari Binusi, we do not have the very fancy selection process. What we have is new member recruitments every odd and even semester. Jadi dari BNEC atau dari English Clubnya yang ngelakuin all of the promotions. We would help in terms of the promotion material, what we have to offer, what we want to market out to new talents atau new debaters that join Binus. But specifically, they're the ones who handle it. Kalau untuk proses masuknya, you don't have to be a BNEC member to become a debater. So if they're interested, we're very, very open to recruit them. Dan kalau misalkan mereka masuk, then you get the elite coaching from our Kak Batara.
I see. So, siapapun yang mau debate silahkan. Berarti ada yang awal sebelumnya belum pernah debate. Kayak Jane kan kayaknya dia baru 2 tahun debate, terus tahu-tahu udah menang gold. Ada juga yang belum pernah debate kayak gitu sebelumnya di high school.
Yes, Kak, there is a lot of new debaters. Jadi nggak semuanya itu high school debaters, but there are actually varsity debaters atau just new people who are interested in debating. Lalu kami juga tetap merekrut aja, because if you have the interest, if you have the potential, why not?
Oh, I see. Jadi nggak ada yang kayak dites lah, di interview nggak ada ya. Siapa yang mau, let's go gitu ya. I see, I see. Nah, ini specifically ini adalah pertanyaan yang paling aku suka dari diriku sendiri. Jadi Rachel, Aku pengen tahu apa sih dari debat yang merubah seorang Rachel? Apa wisdom yang dibawa oleh debat ke seorang diri Rachel?
Oh yeah, it's a very deep question. I think what debating has done to me is a lot of different things. The first and the most obvious one is how it teaches me how to present my own ideas, how to put things in words, how to communicate more effectively with either one person or an entire group or an entire audience. Those are things that I don't think I'll ever achieve outside of debating because I'm just not the type of person who's outgoing or who's willing to try doing things like public speaking. So, if it weren't for Mahler's existing back in high school, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today. But the second thing about debating that I think really changed how I am is how debating taught me to become someone more empathetic or someone who's more humble with my own perspective of an issue or my own opinion about a problem. Karena kan di dalam debat, there's always two sides of a coin. There's not everything is black and white. There are gray areas. Sometimes it might be very hard for you to accept an idea that is completely clashing with your own. But that is exactly what debating is about. It challenges your idea, it challenges your perception. So even if you have those 7 minutes of time for you to talk about your speech, but other people have fair chances to talk about their opinion, to deliver their speeches untuk kasih tahu sebenarnya masalahnya dari perspektif mereka itu seperti ini. I think that's the main component that I really, really enjoy from debating because people are free to express their ideas, to challenge different perspectives, to have these very interesting exchange agar semuanya pada ngerti gitu on a more holistic scope. Sebenarnya isunya itu tentang apa aja, who are involved in the debate, who are involved in these issues, as opposed to like a tunnel vision towards the problem. I guess that's also like the biggest. However, that's also like the biggest misconception ke debat juga kan, because like a lot of people just assume that, oh, if you debate, then you're probably very argumentative, atau you're just very stubborn with your own opinion. But I honestly don't think so because it's the complete opposite of that. Because of debating, it forces you to listen to other people, to empathize with their idea, to understand the opposite perspective. And I don't think you can learn that anywhere else. Or at least it's not easier for you to accept that anywhere else, if not in debating, that it makes sure that you remain equitable, to listen to other people, to try to think about it in a more strategic way, to think about it in not just in a biased way, tapi kayak benar-benar to think it through. Jadi, those are things that I think debating is unique and how it really changed myself as a person. Both as a debater, karena pas debat kan juga kami harus mikirin kan, okay, these are like the bigger scope of the debating. Same thing as becoming a judge, because you shouldn't assume that those are the debater's idea. You have to put your time, you have to really put the time to listening to debaters, appreciate what they have to say, understanding their perspective. Jadi, ini bukan masalah, oh, okay, I'm the judge now, I know the most. But you're supposed to be there to really listen to people, understand them, try to empathize with what you're trying to say. That baru dari sananya you try to weigh the debate as a whole. So that really changes the way I see things now, because there's not one right answer or two right answers. There could be a lot of different answers, and debating really emphasizes on that.
Ya, aku suka membawa topik ini ya, karena ya tadi yang kamu bilang ada miskonsepsi di Indonesia kalau misalnya kalau kamu seorang debater, it means you love to argue. Kayak, ya kita pilih-pilih juga kali yang mau di-argue gitu loh. Itu emangnya argue tidak buang tenaga dan berpikir
Yeah.
gitu ya nggak sih? Nah, sekarang Rachel, karena kita sesama wanita ya Rachel, dan juga kamu salah satu CAP, if I'm not mistaken, di UWGM, if I'm not mistaken, right? Hmm.
Oh, I'm
Nah,
actually the panel discussion ka, not the
panel
camera.
discussion. Ya, I'm sorry ya teman-teman. Panel discussion teman-teman. CIP-nya itu Ariel ya berarti kan ya.
Kak Ariel
Nah,
is
ini baru
the
benar. Ariel is the
oh, Kak Ariel is the founder of IWGM.
hmm, Ariel is the founder, teman-teman. Nah, aku pengen tahu nih, Rachel, karena kamu kan ada di panel discussion-nya juga tentang feminist movement yang ada di Indonesia. What do you think about our progress in feminist movement itself? Kayak kita kan sekarang udah disediain nih kayak MRT khusus untuk gerbang cewek, terus ada kuota, tapi ini kuotanya untuk kuota pengajuan diri ya, untuk duduk di House of Representative. Tapi untuk sit on House Representative-nya itu kita belum punya kuota untuk perempuan. Nah, so far dari yang kamu amati, progress feminist movement di Indonesia ini gimana, Rachel?
Um, I think in Indonesia specifically, kalau misalkan mau ngomong tentang progress, I do think there's definitely a lot of progress from yang slot untuk wanita di MRT in KRL. I think those are things that are very important for women, especially when we're talking about public transport safety. And I think that's honestly something that is very empowering towards women. Gara-gara it makes sure that you are not being harassed when you are just trying to commute everywhere in your daily lives. Unfortunately, I think in terms of progress, even if it exists, there are still some problems that occurs even if we have feminist movement, we have a lot of discussions surrounding women and safety. Um, just a few weeks ago, I still saw a lot of different news tentang uh, keamanan wanita saat menggunakan transportasi umum. There are still a lot of different issues that, such as harassment atau just assaults that are non-consensual, not supposed to happen, but it still happens anyway. I do think we can do more, even if there are progress. We can definitely advocate for more of these things to make sure that the environment becomes a safer one for women. Kalau in terms of political positions, I would say progresnya pasti ada karena udah ada pengajuannya to make sure that there is more women representative, and it's important to have women representative directly from a woman because we're the ones who have the first-hand experience to the things that we go through in our daily lives kan. Jadi hal-hal seperti patriarchy in your own household because Indonesia kan masih ada beberapa yang lumayan conservative. There are still misconceptions about the roles for men and women. There are issues in the workspace. There are just so many different intersectionalities and so many different things that we have to talk about in Indonesia as a country that is so diverse, so huge, and you have different problems emerging every single day. I would say, if from my perspective, just purely from my own opinion, progresnya ada for the quota, but we definitely need competent people into the position because as controversial as it may sound, not all women icons should be seen as an icon. There are still women politicians atau women figures who are not contributing to progress, but instead they are making it regress. That's definitely something that is very unfortunate, and the things that we still see a lot in these days. I wouldn't prefer for those things to happen, but we never know juga kan, karena privilege is still a thing. We still have there's just so many uncontrollable factors happening, especially when we're talking about social and political things. However, I know that there's a lot of people who genuinely care about feminism, who genuinely care about the well-being of women, and I do hope that these are the type of women who gets into the Congress eventually. Biar discussion tentang women itu bukan sekedar suatu hal yang tokenistic, but these are things that could actually translate into something useful and something important for women, especially in Indonesia. Apalagi untuk kami yang menjadi penerimanya juga.
Mm, Nah, one last question. Dan basically this is a very basic questions untuk menjawab pertanyaan kayak kenapa sih feminist movement itu ada gitu. Sebenarnya Apa sih feminist movement kalau di dalam konsepnya Rachel sendiri? Feminist movement itu apa dan kenapa sih kita itu butuh itu?
I think feminist movement means a lot of different things, but what's closest to me is feminist movement as a safe space because they're the only avenue to really care about women's well-being, to listen to women's experiences and grievances. They're there to advocate for things that otherwise wouldn't have existed because of the lack of power, the lack of access, the different difficulties that women have to go through. Jadi dengan existence of feminist movement, it can definitely boost progress a lot more to make sure that women's voices are not just heard, but it is actually being brought up to the table to have tangible policies, to have tangible changes, to make sure that our lives become easier, to make sure that we don't only maximize the potential goods for women, but also most importantly to prevent the bad things from happening first.
Thank you ya, Rachel sudah berbagi pikirannya dan juga berbagi pengalamannya di debat. Thank you sudah menyediakan waktunya juga dan datang ke podcast ini. Thank you so much, Rachel. Semoga apapun agenda kamu ke depannya, semuanya lancar. Dan juga good luck buat Rachel dengan cappingnya lagi. Enjoy capping nih kayaknya.
I mean, thank you so much, Kanila,
Thank
for
you.
inviting me.
Thank you. Oke, bye
My
Rachel.
God, thank you so much.